solving linear equations that only involve one step in order to solve it. As I'm going through this video, remember to pause it and to copy out the examples and then to write out the questions to get your answers done correctly. So first thing, hopefully you should all have this already, it's our operations table, so the inverse of our operations. If you saw the function machine video, then you will have already had this and already know this. The inverse of our operations when we're adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, squaring and square rooting, and then we have our inverses. So solving equations. When solving an equation, it's useful to think of them as a function machine. To find the starting value, you work backwards through the function machine. So we're going to interpret one-step solving equations with the function machine first, and then we'll move on to solving them without using a function machine. So find the value of x if x plus 9 equals 20. Now some of these might be quite easy, you can figure them out in your head, but using a function machine, this is what it would look like. So your input is x, you're adding 9, and your output is 20. Now because we need to find out what the value of x is, because we don't know what our input is, this is where we work backwards. So our output is 20. We now have to do the opposite, because we're going backwards. So the opposite of plus 9 is take away 9, meaning our answer is 11. So x is equal to 11. That will be your final answer. X is equal to 11. So that unknown variable now, you already know what it means. It means it's 11. Have a look at this one. Find the value of a if a minus 13 is equal to 33. So again, we start off with our a. We know we're going to be taking away 13, and we know that our output is 33. So we have to now find what our input is by working backwards. So we start off with 33. We're working backwards. We do the opposite of minusing 13, which is adding 13, meaning that our final answer is 46. So a is equal to 46, and that would be your final answer. So I'm going to go through the first one with you, not with the answer, but just how you would write it out. So question 1, we've got x plus 7 equals 18. So start off with the x. We know we're adding 7, and we know our answer is 18. And then working backwards, we start off with 18, we work backwards, and we take away 7, giving us a value of, and then you have to find that out. What I'm also going to do is going to put up the example for question 5. So you start off with y. You know you're multiplying it by 4, and you get an answer of 12. Remember in algebra, when you have a letter and a digit attached together, it means multiply, and then these mean divide. So now working backwards, we have 12. The opposite of multiply by 4 is divide by 4. You then have to find your answer. And this is something you must remember, that when you have a digit and an unknown variable, which I've already said, it means it's 3 times x. In this case, 3x is equal to means 3 times x, and x over 3 means x divided by 3. Remember, it's the top divided by the bottom. So pause this video and have a go at these 8 questions. Remember to draw out your function machines as you're going along for each one. Right, so let's pop the answers up. So please mark your work. And now we're going to be talking about solving these equations, but without using a function machine. So the first thing you're going to do, as we are going through these, make sure you're pausing and copying them out as we're going along. So you're given your equation, okay, and the first thing you're going to do is, I call it a roadmap. You're going to draw the lines that appear on a road down your equal sign. Okay, then we have a look. We've got x plus 5 is equal to 7. Now, in order to leave x on its own, we have to get rid of that plus 5. Now, very similar to when we're simplifying, for example, fractions, whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So we've got x plus 5 is equal to 7. So we have to get rid of that 5. So the opposite of add 5 is take away 5. So we have to take away 5 from both sides. And that means we're left with x on this side, on its own, equals 7 take away 5, which gives you an answer of 2. So therefore, your answer to this question is x is equal to 2. Let's go on to question 2. So x minus 3 equals 8. So first thing we have to do is have a look. At the moment, we've got the minus 3 attached to the x, so we have to get rid of that minus 3 first. So the opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. So remember, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So x minus 3 plus 3 gets rid of that 3, it eliminates it, so we're left with x on its own. And then on this side, 8 plus 3 gives us an answer of 11. Therefore, x is equal to 11. Right, let's have a look at this one. 4g is equal to 12. So hopefully you'll remember that when you have a digit and an unknown variable attached together, it means that it's multiplied. So we've got 4 multiplied by g is equal to 12. Okay, we draw our roadmap, and at the moment we've got 4 multiplied by g, so to get rid of it, we have to do the opposite. So the opposite of multiply is divide, so we have to divide both sides by 4, which then, when we divide both sides by 4, we get g on its own on this side, because we now have eliminated that 4 there, and then 12 divided by 4 gives you an answer of 3. Therefore, g is equal to 3. Now, this one, x divided by 4 is equal to 7. So remember, another way of writing this one out would have been x divided by 4 is equal to 7. We draw our roadmap, and then we have to get rid of that 4. What do we have to do? What's the opposite of divide by? It's multiply, so we have to multiply both sides by 4. So therefore, on this side, we are now left with x on its own. And then 7 multiplied by 4 gives us an answer of 28. So therefore, x is equal to 28. Pause this video and have a go at these questions. Okay, I'm going to put the answers up, so please mark your answers and putting in any of the ones you got incorrect. Okay, let's go through these examples now. So these ones involve negative numbers, so it's really important to understand how to work with negative numbers. So we've got a plus 6 equals 4. So the exact same way, we're going to draw our line down our equal sign. And then at the moment, we've got plus 6 attached to our a. We need to solve it, we need to get rid of it. So the opposite of plus is take away. So we're taking away 6 from both sides. That means that on this side, we've got a plus 6 take away 6, that 6 is eliminated, so we're left with a, and then we've got 4 take away 6. Remember, it's a smaller number with a bigger number taken away from it, so it's going to be a negative, so it's going to be minus 2. So a is equal to minus 2. If you want to draw a number line to help you, you can. It might help a little bit. So let's look at example 2. Remember to copy these down as we are going along. We've got y minus 3 is equal to minus 7. So we have to get rid of that minus 3 at the moment because we need to leave y on its own. So the opposite of minus 3 or take away 3 is plus 3. So we have to do plus 3 on both sides. So once we do plus 3 on both sides, we're left with y on its own on here equals minus 7 plus 3, which gives us an answer of minus 4. Let's have a look at this one. So again, drawing our roadmap, remembering that 3n is the same thing as 3 times by n is equal to minus 12. So at the moment, we've got 3 times by n. We need to get rid of that 3. So because it's times, we have to do the opposite, which is divide. So we have to divide both sides by 3. Which means we're now left with n on this side. And then minus 12 divided by 3. Remember what I said when you're dealing with negatives. Divide the numbers first. So do 12 divided by 3, that's an answer of 4. And then remember, when you have a positive and a negative, that gives you a negative. Or in this case, you have a negative and a positive. That also gives you a negative. So it's going to be an answer of minus 4. Similarly, let's have a look at this one. X divided by 2. So we've got x divided by 2. So we have to get rid of that 2. So to get rid of it, we have to do the opposite of divide, which is multiply by 2. So we have to multiply both sides by 2. So that means that our x is now on its own because the 2, we have eliminated it. So x is equal to minus 20 times 2. So deal with the numbers first. So 20 times by 2 is 40. Then you have a negative and a positive. A negative and a positive gives you a negative. So it has to be minus 40. Let's have a look at a few more examples. So minus 2n is equal to 28. So same thing, draw our road map, down the equal sign, and then at the moment we've got minus 2 times by n. So to get rid of the times, you have to divide. So we have to divide both sides by minus 2. Okay, remember that minus, that negative is attached to the 2. So on this side, we've now eliminated that minus 2, so we are left with n. So then now we do 28 divided by 2, minus 2. But let's do the numbers first. So 28 divided by 2 is 14, and we've got a positive number and a negative number. And remember, that gives you negative, so we get an answer of minus 14. Let's do this one here. So x divided by minus 4. So now we have to do the opposite of divide, which is multiply. So we have to multiply by minus 4 on both sides. So once you multiply by minus 4 on both sides, you're now left with x on its own on this side. And then you are now going to have to do 32 times by minus 4, or just deal with the numbers first. So do 32 multiplied by 4, which gives you an answer of 128. Then a positive and a negative also gives you a negative, so you put a negative sign in front of your 128, so your answer is a negative. Example 7. We've got minus 3 times c is equal to minus 30. Then multiplied, we have to do the opposite, which is divide. So divide both sides by 3. So not by 3, by minus 3. Not forgetting that minus in front of it. So on this side, minus 3 times c divided by minus 3 gets rid of the minus 3. So we're left with c on its own. And then minus 30 divided by minus 3. Let's do our numbers first. So 30 divided by 3 gives you an answer of 10. And then a minus and a minus gives you a plus. Therefore, you can leave your number like that or put a plus in front of it. But now you know that c is equal to 10. And finally, example 8. We've got k divided by minus 6. So it's divided by, the opposite of divided by is multiply. So you have to multiply both sides by minus 6. So we're now left with k on its own. And now 54 multiplied by 6. We'll deal with the negatives in a minute. So 54 multiplied by 6 gives us an answer of 336. Now 54 is a negative, 6 is also a negative, and we've got double negatives. They become a plus, so we can leave our answer like that. So pause this video and have a go at these questions. I'm going to put the answers up now, so please mark your answers.